Hi, it's still winter here. Higher centers. In one sense, it's actually kind of a waste of time to discuss higher centers because they're so beyond our normal experience that their functions would appear completely strange to us and we wouldn't understand them. But the human being has 7 centers, 5 of which I've discussed previously, and then 2 higher centers, which Mr. Gurdjieff referred to as higher being parts, and his student Ouspensky referred to as higher emotional and higher intellectual. Their language is the language of myth and allegory, and when we experience them for whatever reason, the experience is very strange and very hard to understand for us. But because our reptile brain has such a fine grip on the energies that they require to light them up, we don't really experience them hardly at all, perhaps if our life depends on it. And if something incredibly shocking happens, we might experience them for a little while. Otherwise, because of the imbalance of the rest of our centers and the wrong work of them, they consume the fine energy that would be required to sustain higher centers. So before thinking of trying to connect higher centers, which are fully functioning, it's just we don't have contact with them, one should think of balancing the lower centers. And that consists in finding out which center we have predominant and strengthening the others to the same level so we have balance, so that we're not seeing everything through just the one center. But especially to work on and find out how to prevent the consumption of the very fine energy required for lighting up the higher ones by our habitual negative emotions. In our growing up, we've learned many bad habits emotionally. And most of us on a daily basis are having hundreds and hundreds of thoughts, perhaps thousands, which are of a negative nature in relation to ourselves and other people. For example, if we get angry for a short while, that consumes an enormous amount of energy. And identification of different kinds, attachment, is kind of like attaching a hose with energy flowing out of it to different things throughout the day. So before thinking of getting into higher centers, we need to think of balancing the lower ones. And drugs can actually get us into higher centers for a short period of time. We don't much understand what we see while we're there, while we're connected with them. It all seems very strange. And also, by using drugs are kind of like a skeleton key to get into the upper rooms in our mansion. And if we use the skeleton key too often, we can damage the lock, so that when we come to go with our own authentic key, the lock is damaged and we can't get there. Bit of a warning. By sustaining consciousness in the moment, diminishing the obstacles to it, which we find by our study of ourself, getting to know ourself, we create a bridge of possibility of experiencing the higher parts of ourself. There was an interesting poetess, authoress in America called Emily Dickinson, who wrote a little piece in which she expresses some pretty good ideas. It goes like, much madness is divinest sense to a discerning eye. Much sense, the starkest madness. 'Tis the majority prevail in this as in all. Assent, and you are sane. Demur, you're quickly dangerous and handled with a chain. She also wrote another poem called I'm Nobody, Who Are You? That's all for now, folks. Good luck in your quest to develop more consciousness and eventually connect with your higher being parts. Bye for now.